everyone, Screaming Geek Media here. I am Jerry the Geek. Today we're going to talk about the 4K edition of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But before we get into that, if you like physical media, 4Ks, Blu-rays, even DVDs, if you like home theater, movies in general, please check out my other videos on my channel because I do these reviews, I do unboxings, I do collection updates every month, I do monthly watches, different discussions. Check that stuff out. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn your bell notifications on. And always feel free to comment below, let me know what you think of anything at any time. So today we're going to talk about Lord of the Rings trilogy on 4K. I know I'm late to the party because this has been out several years. Everyone else has talked about it, and I've never done a review. I've never actually watched the 4Ks until this past weekend. So I just wanted to come down here, give you my thoughts on it. Hopefully it won't be too long of a video. So these movies here, originally came out, there's Fellowship of the Ring, came out in 2001. The second one is The Two Towers, came out in 2002. And the final one is The Return of the King, which came out in 2003. Some of the cast, you got Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Orlando Bloom, Sean Bean, Viggo Mortensen. There's a slew of other actors. There's a lot. The cast of this trilogy is freaking loaded. I could go on and on with all the different people that's in this, but I'm not going to. And of course, directed by Peter Jackson. The movies themselves, I'm not really going to go into the synopsis or anything because it's Lord of the Rings. If you don't know anything about Lord of the Rings, you've been living under a rock. So I'm not going to go into that as far as story-wise. They are good movies. I really enjoy them. If you want to watch these, especially if you're going to watch the extended editions, they're 4 hours a piece. So you need to set aside a lot of time if you want to watch this entire trilogy. Now the 4K set here comes from Warner Brothers, came out in 2020. So again, it's been out for 5 years. And I've had this for 2, maybe 3 years, probably. I've had it for a long time and just never watched the damn things. So I'm glad to finally get around. My wife and I set aside some time and watched them all this past weekend. The movies were filmed in 35 millimeter, 2K digital intermediate, so it's kind of everything's upscaled, HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Now, of all the reviews out there, people talking about these movies on 4K, there's been a lot of negative things said. And I kind of have to agree with a lot of it. You would think, general thoughts from a lot of people would be, oh, new movie, action, all that. This is going to be phenomenal 4K. It's not. There's so much CGI in these movies that just doesn't translate well to 4K. And even the stuff that, the actors and everyone, everything looks digital. It just does not have a film look whatsoever. It does have some good details here and there. A lot of it, I think a lot of it boils down to the types of cameras that were used in filming. I'm not an expert in that, so I'm not going to try blowing smoke up your ass and saying I know what I'm talking about. It just, the way it was filmed, a lot of it looks soft. A heavy filtered look, especially the first two. The third one, Return of the King, actually looks the best because it doesn't look filtered like the first two. But, all of them, a lot of the close-ups, you would expect, being a 35 millimeter, film, you'd expect to see skin pores and a lot of stuff like that. You really don't see it. Some scenes you see some stubble here and there, some dirt and grime. But the part that bugged me the most was seeing Frodo. His face was baby smooth throughout the entire trilogy. And it's like he, shaved every single freaking day. You don't see a one bit of stubble on his face in all 3 movies. It was like, come on, they're going on this big adventure. He doesn't have any stubble at all. It was kind of annoying that it just looks so freaking clean. Some of the vistas, because this was filmed in New Zealand, was, stunning. The vistas, all the scenery, some colors. And, for the most part, especially the first two, being, has a filtered look. So the color palette is very muted. There's not a lot of color to these movies. Again, I think it boils down to, how it was filmed and what Peter Jackson wanted them to look. Again, overall, I mean, they were good, but when you expect a lot, especially out of 4K, don't expect to be blown away by these. Now, again, they're good, solid transfers, but they're mediocre in my opinion. I mean, watching these, all three of them back to back, I would have bet money that they were filmed in digital. They just had that digital look, didn't have that film look. So yeah, I just not impressed with these at all. I think the Hobbits actually are better. It's been a while since we watched. It's been a couple years since I watched those. I did reviews of. And as far as comparing to Blu-ray, I got rid of my Blu-rays back when I got these 4Ks. So I had nothing to compare them to because these didn't come with Blu-rays. So I can't give you a side-by-side comparison telling you what the upgrades or not. And I just go by from what others have said online. From what I read online, there's some color changes, especially with the first one. And that's always going to, that's all subjective. I mean, a lot of times out there, people say, oh, this was a correct color. And someone else will say, oh, no, this was correct. Who gives a shit? It's what you like, what your eyes are. I mean, just because the director says this is how it should have been, people go bonkers. Oh, that's how it's supposed to be. It's also, again, it's all subjective to what you like. So whether the color changes were good or bad, that's up to you. Now for the audio here, they gave us Dolby Atmos tracks on all three of these. Now this is where, these are the shining things about this set. With the picture quality lacking because of all the CG and all that crap, the audio tracks on these would be demo worthy. They are incredible. Some great use of surrounds. You can definitely hear things coming from, the right speaker over here in the back or the left speaker behind you. A nice balance across the front. Dialogue is nice. Everything. The sound stage is incredible. Everything is well balanced here. Here's some nice subtle sounds throughout, and the action sequences. The bass really punches. I don't have Atmos. I have a 5.0, so I don't even have a sub. And man, these tracks were kicking ass. I mean, the house was shaking. I had it cranked up. I even had my fan turned on to my amplifier, so because I know in the past if I'm pushing the system a little hard, my amplifier can overheat and start cutting out. So I had my fan turned on it to try to keep it from overheating, and I didn't have any issues. But yeah, the tracks on these are incredible. So now for the packaging, this is actually comes in one case. Here we got the cardboard slip box is pretty chintzy, really thin. Has all the info in the back. It does have the 4Ks and digital code, so there's no Blu-rays here. Again, they stuck all three movies, it's 9-disc set, and it's all in one case, which, if you follow me, I hate having multiple movies in one case. It sucks. So here you got all the discs. You've got, the cool thing is they actually give you the theatrical versions and the extended. Both versions are on 4K. So here you have the Fellowship of the Ring, theatrical version. Then you got the extended version on, they split it up on a 2-disc. Then we go to Two Towers, theatrical and extended. And then we got Return of the King, theatrical and the extended versions. And you can see each set, each movie in a trilogy has different colors. So it's cool that they did that, because a lot of times when you get movies coming out, you have theatrical and then extended director's cuts. They don't put them on 4K. One version will be 4K and the other version will be Blu-ray. So hats off to Warner Brothers that they did both versions on 4K. So you do have a choice. If you prefer the theatrical, you've got the 4K. If you want to extend it, it's on 4K. Now, I do plan on putting these in individual cases. Actually, I did have them in there, but I threw them back into this case. just for this, doing a review, because I hate having the movies in all in one box like this. So I am going to put them in individual cases. And also I started designing some covers for these. I started a couple years ago and I have not finished them yet. I need to get back to it because I was going to do this big matching set for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I need to get right around to finishing doing those. So I'll put those back, I'll take the disc out of this, put them in the cases, and this will go in a box up on a shelf because, again, I'm sure the space saving, but I just hate having multiple movies in one case, especially these multi-disc cases. They suck. They don't hold disc well half the time. They break easily. Now for a bonus, this is where there's a little bit of a letdown. There is no bonus features on these whatsoever. Where I can't remember, I think the Blu-rays had some bonus features. And also I know the DVDs came on a really big set that came out with the collectible stuff, and they have, I want to say a couple bonus discs on every movie. So, I mean, the DVD set was freaking completely loaded. I just can't remember how much bonus was included on the Blu-ray set. I have that. I forgot to pull it out, which, well, guess I did. Earlier, I told you I didn't have the Blu-ray, and I got rid of it. I forgot I do have the Blu-ray set, but it's boxed up. It's kind of a nice box set. I know I just couldn't let myself part with it, so I still have it. So yeah, I lied to you. I still do have the Blu-ray set. It's just boxed up. I forgot about. So to wrap it up here, this is probably a hard sell, especially when you don't have any bonus features. So I think it's going to be up to you. If you have the Blu-ray set, if it has the bonus features, if you're happy with that, if you think it looks really good in your opinion, this might be a hard sell unless you can find it really cheap. Now, as far as purchasing this, I would say, again, the standard version here, still available. It's still running $64.99. So for a set that's been out for 5 years, I know it costs a lot more when it first came out, but $65 I think is still a lot, especially when we don't have any bonus. Just $65 for 3 freaking movies. That is too much still. Now, they did release the Steelbook set back at the same time, roughly in the same area. You can see here, it actually comes in this steel box as well. At the time, I didn't think I needed that. I kind of wish I would have because it's freaking gorgeous. But it still has a pretty hefty price tag. It's still about $150 if you want this. But, they're still available on Amazon. But if you want the steel books but not the set, they've reissued all 3 movies. The steelbook designs are identical to the original set. You can see here, I mean, they're all individually priced. You can get them on Amazon and Grove. And you can see the first one's only a couple dollars cheaper on Amazon, and the rest of them are, $30. Grove is $30 for, all 3 of them. So if you want the steel books, you don't need a big box and pay a hefty price tag. You can get these, reasonable price, So altogether, you're going to spend $90 for all 3 of them. But they are gorgeous steel books. I'm tempted to get them. They are nice. I really like them, but are they enough for me to double dip since I've got this set? I've been weighing that. Now, another choice, when I was looking up the prices of these, I didn't realize there's this gift set. You can see here, comes with a couple extra goodies. They're not steel books, but it comes with a book and a ring and a little pouch, and it has all the discs. And it's running $179.99. So another pretty hefty price tag for those. Is it worth it? I have to leave that up to you. If what kind of collector you are. If you're a big Lord of the Rings fanatic, this might be worth it for you. So if you want the Lord of the Rings on 4K, you do have some choices. So that pretty much does it for my look at the 4K of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Please comment below, let me know what you think. Have you picked this up? I mean, again, it's been many years. So there's been opportunity. If you've thought about it or heard other reviews, and let me know what you think. If you've got this and what you thought of it, or if you've been holding out. waiting for sales or waiting for something better. Again, if you don't have them, I would recommend getting those single steel books. They're freaking gorgeous. So I hope you enjoyed my take on this set. Please check out my other videos on my channel. Like, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and we'll see you soon. Geek out.